is the Emotion Connection, where you'll experience health through feeling. Explore emotion from a different perspective and learn to use your emotions to improve your day-to-day life. Introducing your host, speaker, author, mentor, and creator of emotional strength, Sharon Faye. Sharon heads up a successful business empowering leaders to bring about organisational development and cultural change. Get your senses ready as we delve into the many facets of emotion together. Over to Sharon.
Hello, I'm Sharon Faye, and emotion is my thing. Welcome to Season 2 of the Emotion Connection. I'm so excited to continue our conversation about the healing components of feeling emotion. The theme of Season 2 is opening to different perspectives. When you get out of your own bubble and look at the world through a different lens, you can start to see the world from a different perspective. When I dared to move out of my comfort zone, I was challenged. I believed that my own limitations were the truth. And I discovered along the way that my limitations were a perspective that I believed to be the truth. So have you lived your lives believing in one truth? And then do you generalize your truth to the whole world and believe you're right, and anyone who disagrees with you is wrong? This is the reason you are having arguments or having conflicts in your life. The only time that you can have an argument is when you believe you're right and someone else is wrong. And what if that's not the case? It turns out that what you were taught as a child is not the truth. It's your perspective. It is so important to realise that the way you see the world is not how others see the world. And I don't know about you, but I was sick of seeing the world one way. It's so boring, and it's so fatiguing to think you're right all the time. The good news is that there are many ways to see the world. It's a different feeling when you open to different perspectives. It's really kind of like an uncomfortable feeling. I describe it like resistance. It's a feeling in my body that's really yuck, and it might be resistance to opening up to see a different perspective. And you just need to be willing to move out of your comfort zone. The truths, that's the truths in inverted commas, right? The truths that you have lived with and believed in all your life might be a myth. Have you considered that? Or the information might be just out of date. So each episode in Season 2 will challenge your ideas and help you open up to different perspectives, even if it is uncomfortable. So the first podcast is the benefits of feeling, and I've structured it in talking about avoidance. And remember, each episode, each podcast is related to the opening theme, to the season theme. I'm talking about avoidance because most people don't know that you're avoiding. It's just become normal, and that's the way it is. And then the importance of being in your body. What does it mean to be present? And what are the benefits of being in your body in this moment? When we talk about avoidance, you might ask, why do I need to learn how to feel when I've been feeling all my life? And my question to you is, are you sure you've been feeling all your life? Most of us were taught to shut down our feelings. There's lots of them. There's suppression, there's avoidance, distraction, denial, deception, or numbing, with all kinds of strategies that you may use. Some of these may relate to you, including alcohol, food, TV, just zoning out in front of TV. And screens, the scrolling is a numbing avoidance behaviour. And when you get so involved in social media, because you're so bored with your own life, that's quite an addiction, because the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is, what's happening? And it's like a soap opera or a reality TV show. So we've got all kinds of strategies to avoid. What are we actually avoiding? We're avoiding feeling. And then you say, well, why are we avoiding feeling? Well, because it hurts. And as children, we've been taught to shut down, not in words so much, but you may remember some of the things your parents said to you. Go to your room until you can come out with a smile on your face. So that's teaching children to suppress and shut down their sadness or their anger. Cheer up, it's not that bad. And that's another way of shutting children down. You might hear yourself saying it to your own children. Well, hopefully your language will change after this. There are so many people worse off than you. That's not really relevant to the child. It's making the child feel guilty for feeling anything. Eat your dinner. Think of the poor starving children in the world. Well, the child can't think of the poor starving children in the world, so it's a ridiculous thing to say, really. And recent generations, like my grandchildren and perhaps your children, have the same theme except different language. They say, no problem, it's all good, just chill. I get told that all the time, just chill, let's move on. And this is avoidance being passed down through the generations. The first step is to be aware of the words coming out of your own mouth. So when we look at being in your body, and some of you, my regular listeners, maybe have heard me say before, awareness is the first step to start your journey of waking up. And I often say to people, wake up! And once you have some awareness, you can start to feel your body. Now, that's not as easy as it sounds, because it actually hurts. And I've seen people in my life where they start to feel and they rush off to the doctor thinking there's something wrong. And when you first start to feel, you may feel pain or discomfort. Why do you think we all left our body in the first place? So the goal is, once you start to make that decision to be in your body, the goal is to build a capacity to feel discomfort. Otherwise, you just continue to run away from uncomfortable feelings. And running away can lead to suppressed feelings building up in your body until you act out or you start to develop symptoms and get sick. What does it mean to be in your body, and why is it important? It's a very good question, because being in your body means that you shift your focus from your head, which is where you think, to your body, which is where you feel. Now, scientists wouldn't agree with me on that, but it doesn't matter, because that's how it feels in our body, our thinking and our feeling. You spread the load throughout all of your systems rather than overthinking or analysing. So when I use the word systems, I'm referring to your central nervous system, or it could be your muscular system, or your skeletal. You've got an endocrine system and digestive system. You've got your cognitive system, your fascial system, skin and your visceral system. You have many systems in your body that you're not aware of, and that's good that you're not aware of them because they continue to operate automatically. But when we come into our body, we start to feel some of them, which is quite a different feeling. There are so many benefits to being in your body. It helps you wake up, your body begins to heal, and we want to tap into the natural healing ability of your body. And it's a great navigation tool, gives you greater clarity, and be such relief to emerge from the fog. So how do you come back into your body is a good question. And simple things like feeling your bum on the chair, your feet on the floor. You can feel your hands on the steering wheel, feet on the pedal when you're driving. You can feel the water trickling down your throat, the wind in your hair, the sun on your skin. Any one of these actions brings us back into our body. And the key to make the decision to come back into your body is to really play around with it, practice, and even coming up with your own strategies of coming back into your body. You may want to take your shoes off and feel the grass or the sand underneath your feet. So when you're responding to me, it'd be great for you to share what strategies you've come up with just by playing around with it and trial and error and having a go. And the next theme is being present. And I say being present is your greatest gift. When you're in your body and present, you become more fulfilled. It's not so empty. You connect with yourself. It's the first step, to connect with yourself. And then you connect with your loved ones, because when you're connected to yourself, it's easy to connect with others. You might connect better or communicate better with your staff or your colleagues. And you start to engage with others and they respond differently to how you know them. Being present is like an energy that people feel when you walk into the room, the vibe. You may have had the experience where a couple have just had an argument at a function and you can feel the vibe, right? Awkward. People talk about the awkwardness after the couple have gone, and it's very easy to feel that. So that's a presence, an energy. So being present means being aware and connecting to what is going on inside of you. If that couple had the awareness to connect to their anger or their hurt feelings at the time of the argument, they wouldn't have projected their conflict to the rest of the group at the function, and then no one would be able to gossip about them. So with this awareness and connection, it makes it easier to engage with the outside world, and you no longer live in the blaming world. From that position, it's easier to take responsibility for your own actions. Your energy is clean, you have clarity of thought, and your actions flow. Everything becomes a lot easier. Being present is certainly underrated, in my view. It's essential for all of us to learn this skill. And we learn this skill in the moment. Many people spend their time in the past or in the future rather than being in the now. When you are focused on the past, you think, if only I had bought that house 10 years ago, I would have made a bundle. If only I had done more to help before she died, and the list goes on. You end up feeling depressed, tired, with low energy when you live in the past. It's kind of a depressed energy, if only. It's like a regret. And when you're future thinking, you tend to think in terms of what if? What if the market crashes? What if my partner or my children leave me? What if I go broke? You end up feeling highly anxious. When your anxiety increases to overwhelming levels, you move beyond your capacity to feel and you will start to act out. And when I say act out, I mean you might yell at someone or use a short or curt tone because you feel anxious and you're not in your body. And this type of behaviour may leave the person wondering what they've done wrong, because everything communicates. And the types of everyday actions that represent acting out are, the obvious one is yelling at someone, and we all do that. But when you do that, just remember that's because you're beyond your capacity to feel. And using a curt tone of voice or arguing or becoming impatient are all acting out. You can tell when you're not in your body, when all of a sudden you knock over a glass of water, or you bump into the doorway when you walk past, or you drop something, or you forget the reason you walked into the room, or you lose your keys. Keys are a common one in families that start really big conflicts, because the person who's lost their keys and is in a hurry to get to work involve the whole family. Help me find my keys, help me find my keys. And that causes a lot of stress. And I remember that as a child as well, having to panic, run around trying to find something that my mother had lost. So that's acting out. Instead of past and future thinking, you might shift your focus to now. Now is the only time you can change your lens or change your behaviour. When you focus on the moment, this is where you can really make a difference in your life. The moment is your point of power. It is feeling right now. You can do anything right now. You can change how you see the world. You can create your vision. You can change your language. It's a feeling that right now I can change how I see the world. I can create anything from the now. I can do anything in the now. Whereas you can't change the past because it's already happened, but you can change your relationship to the past, even though you can't change the past. And you can't predict the future because it hasn't happened yet. You can change how you feel right now, and this is your point of power. So to recap, I've talked about why you need to feel when you've been feeling all your life. This is because you haven't been feeling. Maybe you've been suffering, but you haven't been feeling. You may have been avoiding without realising it, but you hadn't been feeling in the way that I mean feeling. And you will learn more as you listen to each podcast. You will learn more about feeling and being able to practice that. Then we talked about how did we shut down our emotions in the first place, and suppression, avoidance, numbing, and the benefits of being in your body that improves your health and well-being. Being in the moment means waking up and becoming a participant in life rather than an observer. So the homework for this week is to start to become aware of the words that come out of your mouth. Do you know what you're saying? And I've helped many people realise what they're saying when they didn't know because it was automatic. Maybe you're saying, it's all good, not a problem, no worries. It could be worse. When those things come out automatically every day, then it's because you're in a habit. You're not aware and you're not awake. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a chance to improve your experience of life and your communication with others by becoming aware of your automatic language. Remember, every bit of homework I give you, I'm saying there's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. And also notice when you're spending parts of your day thinking about the past or the future, and be aware if your attention is focused here, right now. And I'd love to hear how your homework went. And it's very important to feed back to me what you're experiencing, because if you're experiencing something, then many other listeners are experiencing it too. So it's a real generosity to give us feedback and to ask questions and to ask me to clarify things. Because even though it doesn't seem like it's a complex topic, it is very complex to practice it and bring it into your life and be consistent in living it right now. So there'll be examples of how you can communicate with me through sharonfaye.com. And our next podcast, I've called it Serendipity, Feeling by Accident. That sounds very interesting, and I'll see you next time.
Well, that's a wrap. The Emotion Connection is produced by Sharon Faye and her team at sharonfaye.com. With a vision to help people feel, this is just one way we're spreading the word. Sharon Faye is an engaging speaker with a compelling message. Book her for your next conference to ensure a unique and memorable experience for your audience. We encourage you to engage with Sharon through the podcast. You can also email Sharon directly, sharon@sharonfaye.com. We'd love to hear from you. The Emotion Connection, Season 2, hosted by Sharon Faye. Visit sharonfaye.com to learn more or book Sharon for your next event. See you next time.